welcome to the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Commission meeting. Thank you all for being here. To the commissioners, thank you for your time and your service. Just a couple of points. One, this meeting has been appropriately publicized as a public meeting. In addition to that, the commission conducted an executive session to engage in quasi-judicial deliberations this morning, and for issues to be adjudicated at the public meeting, and engaged in attorney-client privilege communication as well. Just a couple of housekeeping notes, please, for those who have phones, if you can silence those. Those who are joining us by online option, if you just be sensitive to the mute button, right, to ensure that we don't become party to other conversations. Thank you. And for anybody presenting, if you would please identify yourself so the stenographer can appropriately capture your name, the spelling of the name. And of course, since we're in a hybrid setting, for those who are speaking, just identify yourself. That way it's easier to know whose voice we're hearing. Okay. With that, thank you all again for being here. You've got the September 27th minutes before you. Do I have a motion, please, to approve those?
So moved.
Commissioner Ellis.
I'll second with a correction to item 15, if that's okay with Tom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Commissioner Ellis on the motion, Commissioner Rogers on the second. All those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Tracy Gottwaltz for the financial report for September. Welcome.
Commissioner Locke joining the meeting.
Commissioner, thank you. Welcome.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Secretary and Commissioners. Looking at the September 30th, 2022 statements, the beginning cash balance at September 1st was $9,104,000. Revenue for the month was $1,975,000. Expenditures were $1,866,000, bringing the ending cash balance to $9,214,000. The Commission's revenue and expenditures for the month, there was revenue of $1 million, personnel expenditures of $661,000, operating expenditures of $198,000, bringing total expenditures for the month to $860,000. For testing, revenue for the month was $975,000. Personnel expenditures were $595,000. Operating expenditures were $395,000, bringing the total expenditures for the month to $990,000. For promotion, there was a $10,000 advertising expenditure, and that was the only expenditure for the month. Moving on to the comparative financial statement for the commission and testing, comparing the month September 30th, 2022 to September 30th, 2021. There was a 1% decrease in overall revenue. For personnel, there was a 19% increase. And for operating expenditures, there was a $45% decrease, which was generated by the UPenn contract. The contracted services, which is the maintenance agreements, they've been switched to UPenn. That's a change in the contract. And the real estate payment had not yet gone out because the MOU is being negotiated. So those are the three large expenditures. There's also one for $200,000, which is the laboratory supplies, which decreased. And again, that's part of the UPenn contract, which makes up the 45% decrease. Overall, total expenditures are down 11%. Then the remaining financial statements are for the restricted funds.
I have a question on the commission statement. It's unusual for us to be at 25% of our spending authority at this point. Do you have any explanation as to why that might be? Comparable, of course, to the 17% shown on the testing. I
It
know-
looks like it's the IT, that's further ahead than it normally is the IT expenditure.
Okay,
As you can see, even on the comparative, it's 194 versus 85 last year. And you had personnel expenditures increase 19%. So I think that would be your component right there, or larger component that you're seeing the increase for. There's also, if you look to, it's 155. Specialized services. Looks like last year was the large credit for the property that we did the adjustment for. So
if personnel looks a little high, is that,
I would need to have Tom speak to that individually.
One of the things that increased personnel at this time, the governor through the Commonwealth, there were certain things that were scheduled to be implemented normally in October and November. He expedited them and moved them up, and that included the cost of living raise and some tenure payments. So it'll even out over the period of time, Ed. It just was expedited and moved up.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other questions, comments on the September financial reports? I'm looking online, I see none. So Tracy, thank you.
Mr. Chair, the next item on the agenda is the PHRA marketing report. Is commonplace each year as we head into the fall. Each of the grantees come up, give a brief review of last year and where they're heading to this year. We are graced today by Ms. Ashley Eisenbiel and Pete Peterson from the PHRA.
Good afternoon. Ashley Eisenbiel. It is ASHLEYEISENBEIL.
And Pete Peterson, PETERSON.
Yeah, if you'd like to see the slides.
You should have a handout as well.
Yeah, we have a booklet. Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you so much for having us here today. We're super excited to give you a brief recap of what we did in fiscal year 2001 and 2002, and a brief plan on how we are moving forward with 2022, 2023. This is a pretty lengthy report, so please feel free to stop me if you have any questions or would like me to elaborate on any of the sections we're about to review. So starting with slide 4, the executive summary. During 2021-2022, our nation and industry began to resume life post-COVID-19, and the PHRA focused on bringing fans and current fans and new fans back to Pennsylvania racetracks and enhancing our full cam experience, the live stream, and also creating new partnerships. Some of those highlights included our ongoing awareness marketing tactics, like programmatic digital ads, hybrid TV ads, digital billboards, social media with paid and also organic posts, educating and promoting horse racing in Pennsylvania. We supported the 6 racetracks with major events, including the Triple Crown races, Penn Mile, Adios, Sun Stakes, Maxie Lee, the Masters Stakes, and Pennsylvania Derby. Full cams reached beyond the landing page this year into elementary schools for an online educational introduction to the foaling and breeding season in Pennsylvania. Slide 5 is a continuation. We partnered with Urban Village Brewery, a brewery located in Philadelphia, to release a limited edition themed brew called Chomping at the Bit that proceeds benefited Aftercare. Public relation efforts were ongoing throughout the year, and PHRA debuted its new beer trailer, a horse trailer converted into a beer trailer in the spring of 2022. We live streamed the 2021 PA Derby draw and had over 400 views, and also live streamed a roundtable discussion with PA Derby trainers and jockeys in both 2021 and 2022. All right, starting with slide 7, I'll briefly go over some of the results from the marketing tactics that we used. On the website, the top metrics for PennHorseRacing.com saw an increase in website visits with 58.5% increase, a 77.2% increase in sessions, and a 75.4% increase in page views from 2020 to 2021. Top pages on our website that were visited was the PHRA homepage, the Wager Warriors page where we offer the free PPs, and the PA Derby event page. Slide 8. A website, our full cam. We added some enhancements this year to our full cam page, such as a comment section that allowed viewers to ask questions and leave positive comments while watching the live stream. We also launched our educational website page about foaling and breeding to grade school students. This page hosts educational activities for students at home or in the classroom, and some of those assets were educational videos with accompanying worksheets, activities that can be done at home or in school, a book list about horse racing for elementary students, and a memory game. We invited teachers to sign up to join us for a virtual field trip at Crabben Creek Farm, where students and teachers met a mare and her foal, a farrier, and an equine veterinarian, along with an equine dentist. Over the 2 days we hosted these virtual field trips, we had 19 classrooms attend and 363 students join us virtually. On slide 9, social media. We did see a decrease in impressions and engagement on our social media platforms, and that was due to a decrease in posts from the pandemic year prior. So we posted obviously a lot more during the pandemic since we were all home and absorbing a lot more social media. The top posts for 2021-2022 for impressions was the full cam, and that post saw 150,533 impressions and 33,000 engagements. On slide 10, you'll see some of those campaigns that were paid and the results from those campaigns on social media. That is also on slide 11 and 12. Slide 13. We've been seeing more and more people pull the plug on traditional cable television. So we believe that hybrid TV, the streaming TV that you now can get with Hulu and lots of other distributors of that is a more effective way to reach new audiences. You will see on this slide that we ran several ads throughout the year on top streaming services. We saw 2,803,446 impressions, exceeding the benchmark for video completion rates by 3.5%. On slide 14, we place programmatic displays on the internet with horse racing digital banners and pre-roll videos. These ads targeted people who showed interest in horse racing, general interest in horses, sports fans, gambling, interests, and also people who frequent casinos and have interest in visiting casinos. These people were all within a 50-mile radius of one of Pennsylvania's 6 racetracks. And our programmatic displays saw 4 million impressions. On slide 15, you will see that we also partnered with Urban Village, a brewing company based in Philadelphia, to create a PA horse racing themed brew called Chomping at the Bit in July of 2021. The cans were designed to be purchased as a 6-pack and came with an informational card with instructions to share this 6-pack with friends and watch a horse race to see which person with the can with the can of the winning horse saddle towel. So if you can see up there, we had these cans nicely designed to look like the saddle towel numbers, and friends were encouraged to get together, share, and see who won and cheer on their horse. We also, with the packaging, included stickers that had PA horse racing facts on them, much like the Snapple tops that you get. Fun, inspirational facts that you might have not known. The sales of the 6-packs went to support aftercare program Turning for Home. And during the spring of 2022, we partnered again with Urban Village to bring Chomping at the Bit to Parks Racing for the Triple Crown races. So fans were able to purchase the beers at the location of the track. On slide 20, we have digital properties and DraftKings. We continued our partnership with DraftKings for an immersive website ad display during the Triple Crown races that drove fans to our website. We did have 2 creative displays up. Right now, I believe you can see just the thoroughbred one, but we also had a harness one. The click-through rate and the video completion rate surpassed DraftKings benchmark by 11%. Slide 21. Here you'll see all the digital properties that I just went through with their total impressions, click-through rates, and video completion rates. On slide 22, you'll see our out-of-home banners that we had, some digital banners for Adios and PA Derby. We did have one made for Farm Show. Unfortunately, we were unable to attend, but it did still run. On slide 23, track reopening and events. The Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association was fully back in action in the spring of 2022 after the pandemic. We enhanced the fan experience at the racetracks and dressed up the track's aprons with a new vintage beer trailer converted into, vintage horse trailer converted into a beer trailer. We were able to take our new trailer out to Parks Racing for several events, Penn National, the Meadows, and Presque Isle, where it was utilized by the tracks to serve drinks out of during their large events. Slide 24. On Philadelphia Beer Fest was an event that we went to that was a non-racing event. The All-Star Beer Fest was in May, and this event we were excited to bring fans the excitement of the racetrack to an outside event. So we did that with our virtual reality simulators, and then we also had Urban Village with us serving up the Chomping at the Bit brew. We had 111 people join us to do the virtual reality and had $204 donated to aftercare during this event. On slide 25, public relation outreach. We continued our PR efforts, pitching stories throughout the media or to the media throughout the year. Some of those stories were based on and subject around PA Derby, economic impact, full cams, aftercare programs, and the thrill of racing, where we invited reporters to experience harness racing firsthand by riding in a double-seated jog cart with a driver. You can see a full media coverage appendix and slides 35 through 50 at the end, but we're going to keep going to slide 26. The 2021 live racing handle at PA racetracks. I would just like to note that the numbers used in this chart came from each track's monthly handle report that is submitted to the commission. During 2021, Pennsylvania's 6 racetracks saw a 16.4% increase in live racing handle compared to 2019, even though there was a 114-day decrease in live race days. We did not compare to 2021 because the tracks were not fully open during 2021 due to the pandemic. The track handle is the PHRA's main KPI, our key performance indicator for the statewide branding campaign, and we are excited to see that the marketing efforts the PHRA has assisted with increasing the handle at Pennsylvania's live racing product. I'm going to let Pete give you.
Maybe we'll stop it there. Any questions on what Ashley presented so far? Okay. So I'm just going to provide a brief overview of the 2022-2023 statewide marketing campaign. As Ashley mentioned, our mission at the PHRA is to increase public awareness of horse racing and breeding, as well as increasing track handle and creating new fans. And we do that through a variety of means, including educational programming, advertising, marketing, experiential marketing, social media engagement, and enhancing the track experience of fans. And we do that we also use a hybrid approach to that combines both traditional marketing strategies along with social and digital strategies to help target new audiences. So as I mentioned, our main objectives are, 1, to increase awareness of the racing and breeding industry in Pennsylvania, increase the handle for the 6 tracks, increase attendance, and also reach and retain next generation of fans and horsemen. Based on some research we had done in the winter of last winter, winter 2022, with Bravo Group and Susquehanna Polling, we've refined our audiences, with our primary audience being male and females, ages 55 and plus, who have a strong affinity for gambling and events, while our secondary audience is younger generation, people in their 20s and 30s, sports gamblers, and Hispanic-speaking individuals. I'll get into that a little bit later because we've launched some initiatives to target the Spanish-speaking population, and we think that's going to bear some fruit in the coming year. So our strategy overall is to bring the experience of horse breeding and racing outside of the track. As Ashley mentioned, we're doing virtual reality programs, trying to find different locations, such as the beer festivals, et cetera, to go out and give people a taste for what it's like to experience being on a horse or on a jog cart. And hopefully that translates to them wanting to learn more about the sport and get out to the track. We're also continuing to do the full cams live streams, number of programs, educational program on how to wager, try to remove barriers for people who may be intimidated by the betting process. And we're also just generally trying to enhance the experience at the track so that when people do attend, they have a good experience and want to come back again. This year, pleased to welcome Donnell Mock to our team at the PHRA. She is the PHRA's new Director of Digital Content. She'll be working with Ashley to develop various digital strategies to promote horse racing and breeding in Pennsylvania. Donnell comes from background in horse racing, having worked for the Meadows Standardbred Owner Association for the past 6 years. And she's actually going to be hosting a panel on Thursday, her first Wager Warriors panel, in which we're going to be talking about ownership and fractional ownership opportunities. In spring of 2022, the PHRA went out to place an RFP for new agencies and vendors to provide media buying, public relations, event management, creative content, and then also a Spanish social media campaign. So we're proud to be working with Our People Entertainment, Cole Creative, and Spanish Plus Media at this point. I know we've taken up a lot of time. I don't want to go into too much more, other than to say that with OPE, we're looking to, again, as I mentioned, bring the experience of the track to non-industry events like beer and wine festivals and sporting events. We're also looking for opportunities with businesses near the tracks for partnerships. With Cole Creative, we're doing a campaign refresh based on the market research study that was performed by Bravo Group and Susquehanna Polling. And as I alluded to earlier, we're working with a company, Spanish Plus Media. I think we've mentioned this before in our presentations, but the PHRA has noticed a significant number of our website traffic is to our Spanish language pages. They're consistently among the most trafficked pages on the website. So he's partnered with Spanish Plus Media to create PHRA Spanish social media accounts, the PHRA en Español on Facebook and on Instagram. And I think we're getting very good traction, and I think it's important to be doing more to customize our messaging to that audience, given that they've taken a proactive interest in what we have to say. That's all I have. And as Ashley mentioned earlier, we have a PR appendix of several pages that goes through kind of our public relations successes over the past year. And I'll open up to any questions you may have.
Ashley, thank you. And Pete, thank you. Questions, comments?
I was happy to see that you are getting into the schools. I hope you continue with that and expand that.
Yes, we do plan to. After we did the virtual the virtual field trip, we actually sent out a questionnaire to the teachers to give us feedback on what they liked, didn't like, what they wanted to see more of, and I think we had 15 responses out of the 19 classrooms. So it was really exciting to hear back from them and get their opinion on what we have offered with worksheets and how to kind of include it in their curriculum.
Good.
Yeah, just building on that question, I noticed you have a 4-H partnership, right? I think that's either due or planning for. I mean, could you speak to that a little bit?
We've worked with the 4-H. I've worked with the 4-H since working at the commission. It's a great program. We have done things in the past with them where we went out and did programs with the fairs and the harness racing. We did have plans to go out there this year, but unfortunately, due to staffing, we were unable to make all the events happen with the events happening at the tracks as well. The schedule kind of got too tight and just didn't have the manpower to do the 4-H events at the fairs this year, but I would love to get back to that. The 4-H pushed our educational page for the full cams, and they are always super supportive of the full cams. We did do a couple tapings because the 4-H doesn't meet during the school day. So we did some tapings for them that their 4-H groups then got to view on our YouTube page and submit questions afterwards.
And remind me what the demographic, your focus is on the online and virtual platform work that you're doing. What's the demographic? Who you're trying to get?
For educational 4-H?
I just think in terms, no, sorry,
Okay.
not 4-H, just reach of with your social media demographic.
So as Pete said, we're targeting men and women and the 55 plus. So of course, we would love to reach the younger generation, but they are the ones that are currently reacting to our content more. So being able to serve them, and they have the disposable income that is available for the wagering. But we also have put a lot of tactics towards hitting that 30 to to 50 age group. With the Beer Fest and the virtual reality, the tech audience is very important to serve them the new innovative ways of horse racing.
Thank you. Other questions, comments?
I have a question about this, the fractional ownership promotion that you're planning. How are you planning on going about promoting that?
Right now, we have several ads on Facebook, and we've been tweeting about it. It's going to be through Facebook Live. We've had much success with Wagers Warriors. We did have to pause it for a little bit, but now with Donnell on the team, she's taken that over to kind of put together a show for about an hour. Todd Mosteller will be on the show discussing fractional ownership and ownership. We also have Greg DeMasi and Andrew McDonald to talk about fractional ownership and harness racing and thoroughbred racing. Greg and Andrew have fractional ownership programs that they invite people to come out and join.
It'll include standardbreds also, or just
Yeah.
their-
Yes, so Andrew McDonald,
Okay.
he has a fractional ownership for harness racing.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rogers.
Next year, could you consider having the beer cans in the harness colors rather than this thoroughbred?
Yes, we do have plans to expand partnerships out in the Pittsburgh area, and we've been talking to several breweries, and that is the plan to take that design over to the harness.
Very good. Final questions, comments on the presentation?
Thank you.
If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley, Pete, thank you. Okay, administrative actions. Tom?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just two administrative actions. The first one is a motion to approve the simulcast calendars for November for the harness for Harris, Mohegan Sun, and the Meadows.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Do we have
Commissioner Lark?
Commissioner Lark on the motion? Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Brenheiser on the second to approve the simulcast calendars for the standardbred tracks. Discussion of this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you.
The second motion, Mr. Chair, is a motion to approve the simulcast calendars for the thoroughbred tracks for November of 2022. That would be for Parks, Penn National, and Presque Isle Downs.
I will make such a motion, please.
Okay, we have a motion, Dr. Sweeney on the motion, second, Sal DeBunda, Commissioner DeBunda, discussion. Hearing none of those in favor of approving the simulcast calendars for the thoroughbred tracks, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, thank you. On to licensing and adjudications. Mr. Gatto.
Thank you, Chairman. In accordance with the provisions of Subchapter C of the Racing Act, the following racing vendors, tow companies, and secondary parimutuel organizations, or SPMOs, have filed a license renewal application for the upcoming 2023 year. This is the typical October month where we all do all these renewals. Notice of the applications were published in the Pennsylvania Bulletin on September 17th in order to give notice and the opportunity to intervene in these matters. The Commission did not receive any requests to intervene in these applications. The Director of Licensing and the Office of Chief Counsel have reviewed the applications and the supporting documentation and recommend approval of these matters. For ease of reading and approving these orders, what I'd like to do, Chairman and Commissioners, is to read one order and have them apply to the various docketing numbers. So the following order, and assuming it is approved, would apply to the ones listed. So that would be docket 2022-32 all the way through 42 and those entities as listed. Unless you want me to read 10 different orders, I can do that. But so the following order would be And now this 25th day of October 2022, pursuant to Section 9351B1 of the Act, the Racehorse Industry Reform Act, the above racing vendor, as defined in Section 9301 and as determined by the Commission, is seeking to renew its license to provide goods and services to a licensed racing entity directly relating to racing or the racing product. Pursuant to Section 9358, this racing vendor license is valid for a period of 1 year, commencing January 1st, 2023. In accordance with the statutory authority set forth in Section 9353B and its regulatory authority set forth in 7 PA Code 187.4, the Commission has reviewed the submitted renewal application and the pertinent information from the racing vendor, including any subsequent changes from its previously approved 2022 license application. Based upon the Commission's review and consideration, it is ordered that the above referenced racing vendor license renewal application is hereby granted for the year 2023. It is further ordered that the Commission's approval is issued upon the ongoing general conditions of compliance set forth in the Act and with the following specific conditions. 1, the racing vendor shall provide the Commission with written notice of any modifications, changes, or amendments to the vendor agreement as submitted and approved by the Commission no later than 15 business days after such modification, change, or amendment. 2, the racing vendor shall provide the Commission written notification of the election to terminate or not to renew the vendor agreement no later than 15 business days after such election. And 3, the racing vendor's license may not be conveyed, assigned, or transferred to any other person or third party without the prior approval of the Commission. And that could be issued as a motion.
Thank you. Do we have a motion, please?
So moved, Commissioner Lark.
Commissioner
Second.
Ellis on the motion, Commissioner Lark on the second. Discussion of the motion on renewal of the vendors. Discussion.
I have a question, George, about the first one. When you talk about it cannot be transferred,
Mhm.
TVG Network was recently purchased by another gambling organization. How would that work?
It's the license itself. That's okay. That's at the parent, the corporate parent level. We're talking about the actual license itself, the license you prepare and you give. So that does not have an impact. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Further questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the racing vendor motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the tote companies. And for those three, I'd like to do the same thing. I'll read the following order and that they will be applying to docket numbers 43, 44, and 45. And now this 25th day of October 2022, pursuant to Section 9351B1 of the Racing Act, the above tote entity, as defined by Section 9301 and as determined by the Commission, is seeking to renew its license to utilize a computer system used to pool wagers, record sales, calculate payoffs, and display wagering data on a display device that is located at a pari-mutuel racetrack facility or non-primary location. Pursuant to Section 9358, this tote license is valid for a period of 1 year, commencing January 1st, 2023. In accordance with the statutory authority set forth in 9353B and its regulatory authority set forth in 7 PA Code Section 187.4, the Commission has reviewed and submitted renewal application and the pertinent information from the tote entity, including any subsequent changes from its previously approved 2022 license application. Based upon the Commission's review and consideration, it is ordered that the above referenced tote license renewal application is hereby granted for the year 2023. It is further ordered that the Commission's approval is issued upon the ongoing general conditions of compliance set forth in the Act and with the following specific conditions. The tote company or entity shall provide the Commission with written notice of any modifications, changes, or amendments to the tote agreement as submitted and approved by the Commission no later than 15 business days after such modification, change, or amendment. Number 2, the tote shall provide the Commission written notification of the election to terminate or not renew the tote agreement no later than 15 business days after such election. And number 3, the tote's entity's license may not be conveyed, assigned, or transferred to any other person or third party without the prior written approval of the Commission. And that can be done as a motion.
Okay, thank you. Motion, please.
So moved, Commissioner Lark.
Commissioner Sweetie on the motion, I'm sorry, on the second. Commissioner Lark. Commissioner Lark, thank you. Discussion, this motion. Hearing none? All right. That's all right. All those in favor of approving the tote companies as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
Sorry about that, jumped the gun.
Okay.
Finally, we have the SPMO renewal license in the following order. Again, is applied to docket number 2022-80 for AmWest. The order says, and this 25th day of October 2022, in accordance with section 93.2, 93.22, and 93.51B2 of the Racehorse Industry Reform Act, the above applicant is seeking to renew its SPMO license as defined in section 93.01 of the Racing Act to conduct advanced deposit wagering in Pennsylvania. Pursuant to section 93.58, this SPMO license is valid for a period of 1 year commencing January 1st, 2023. In accordance with the statutory authority set forth in section 93.53B and its regulatory authority set forth in 7 PA Code section 187.4, the Commission has reviewed and submitted renewal application and the pertinent information from the SPMO, including any subsequent changes from its previously approved 2022 license application. Pursuant to section 93.22A4 of the Racing Act, finds the general fitness and experience of the above applicant consistent with the public interest, convenience, and necessity, and in the best interest of racing generally. Based upon the Commission's review and consideration, it is ordered that the above referenced SPMO license renewal application is hereby granted for the year 2023. It is further ordered that the Commission's approval is issued on the ongoing general conditions of compliance set forth in the Act and with the following specific conditions. The SPMO shall provide the Commission with written notice of any modifications, changes, or amendments to its SPMO renewal application as submitted and approved by the Commission. Number two, the SPMO shall provide the Commission written notification of the election to terminate or modify operations within the Commonwealth no later than 15 days after such election. And finally, number three, the SPMO's license may not be conveyed, assigned, or transferred to any other person or third party without the prior written approval of the Commission. That could be done as a motion.
Motion. Mr. Ruddy.
I'll give a second.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
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 Thank you, Nicole. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, adjudication.
This matter is before the Pennsylvania Racing Commission on an appeal filed by owner Jose Salazar Martinez from a decision of the Board of Stewards to disqualify the horse Miracles Sunshine from the fifth race of May 5th, 2022 at Penn National Racecourse. The stewards found that the rider of Miracles Sunshine interfered with other horses in the race and failed to make a proper effort to maintain a straight course in violation of the Commission's regulations. As a result of the disqualification. Thank you. As a result of the disqualification, Miracle Sunshine was placed from first place to third place. The sole issue before the Commission is whether the evidence supports the decision of the stewards to disqualify Miracle Sunshine from the fifth race at Penn National on May 5th, 2022. A hearing was conducted on this matter on September 13th, 2022. The Commission, as the ultimate fact finder, has had the opportunity to review the transcript of the hearing, the video of the race, and the proposed adjudication. This matter is now ripe for consideration, and I recommend the following order as a motion. And now this 25th day of October, 2022, upon consideration of the testimony and exhibits of record, it is hereby ordered that the decision of the Board of Stewards to disqualify the horse Miracle Sunshine from the fifth race on May 5th, 2022 at the Penn National Racecourse and to place the horse from first place to third place is hereby affirmed.
Thank you. We have a motion.
So moved.
Commissioner Ellis on the motion. We have a second.
Second.
Commissioner Rogers, thank you. Discussion of this motion. Any discussion? Nobody online? Okay, you've heard the motion in a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Go to industry reports, Tony.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, before we do the industry reports, Tom has a couple items he needs to address.
Thanks, Tony. First, on the out-of-competition testing, since the last commission meeting, we collected 45 samples from the farms and training centers located by Pocono. Year to date, we've collected 865 samples between the two breeds. The goal, obviously, by the end of the year is to reach 1,000 samples. The next issue deals with the third quarter press release. As you all remember, back in January and February, this commission implemented some steps to address equine safety, equine welfare. The early results have been very positive. If you take a look at the fatalities for the third quarter, they're down. Now, this commission obviously understands that the only acceptable answer is 0, but we're working towards that end. The other measures dealing with veterinary oversight, and both in the morning works, in the third quarter, 5 horses were placed on the vets list and deemed ineligible to race. We've upped the criteria and responsibility on post-race, coming back to the horses after they've raced. 30 horses were placed on the vets list, 4 horses ended up retiring. In addition, as everyone's aware, we've heightened the pre-race, the morning of exams. 32 horses were placed on the vets list. In conjunction with the tracks, we implemented last 5 starts, 12. If you're outside of 12 lengths in 5 consecutive starts, thanks, Eric, you're no longer eligible to race in Pennsylvania. 15 horses were deemed ineligible to race. Basically, those steps have been proactive action taken by this commission that are deeming and gathering results, positive results. The last issue is the equine hotline that was implemented in March. From March through September 30th, March 1st through September 30th, there were a total of 79 calls. 75 of them have been closed. 4 of them are still pending. People ask if there's been any impact from the calls. In the last quarter, they resulted in a jockey suspension for illegal devices and 2 other contraband circumstances. So it is having an impact. It is helping direct this commission and staff to investigate worthwhile causes and come to some resolution. Overall, the commission has done a proactive job with this and will continue to act in accord. Any questions? The last issue deals with HISA and IWU. This commission received in the last 2 weeks an assessment package and a voluntary agreement. The staff is currently reviewing both the assessment package and the voluntary agreement. There's legal issues that have to be addressed, personnel issues, operational issues. It's a complex situation, to say the least. The staff is scheduled to meet with HISA this week, IWU this week. There are going to be continuing meetings with HISA and IWU. In addition to that, internal meetings advising the commission where we are. The commission's position is pretty straightforward. We're going to make the best efforts to work collaboratively with HISA and IWU. But you have to also understand, HISA and IWU have issued self-imposed deadlines The commission is going to make every effort to meet these deadlines, but no guarantee. That said, in the event the commission doesn't meet all the required deadlines, the commission will continue to work with HISA, HIWU, to seek resolutions for the issues. So the bottom line is, we may not make all the deadlines, but we're going to continue to work for a solution that's in the best interest of Pennsylvania racing, the tracks, the horsemen, the public, and the commission staff, to assure we can come to a solid recommendation and solution. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Good. Thank you, Tom. Tony?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, just want to give a brief and final fair update for the year. As you know, the fair finals were held at the Meadows on October 7th, which brought a conclusion to the fair season. You all know there were 21 fair dates altogether. Unfortunately, the last one, Clearfield, was rained out both days, but we got through the year without any incidents. We paid out $2.3 million in purses for the fairs. There was a 10% increase over the number of 2-year-olds that raced this year at the fairs compared to last year, which is a good sign. In January, there'll be a meeting at Hershey to go over the fair dates and the fairs for next year. There'll be a meeting of the Standardbred Breeders Advisory Committee during the week of the sale here, and we'll go over any changes that might need to be made or any recommendations from the fairs this year. Commissioner Brennheiser pretty much attended most of the fairs, so he got the brunt of the good and the bad as to what the fairs were all about. But I appreciate Commissioner Brennheiser's help in getting through the fairs. He worked hard at the beginning of the year to implement some new safety precautions and purchase some new safety equipment, which thankfully we didn't have to use it all this year. So, and right now Ryan is working with the fairs to get them their reimbursements on their operational expenses and their marketing expenses. More than half of the fairs have submitted their receipts, and he's working with the rest of them to get that done. So anybody have any questions on the fairs?
Any questions? Any further comment from Commissioner Brennheiser? Or you've had a front row seat to the summer, so.
Very well done, Commissioner Lark. Very well done, both Tony and Commissioner Brennheiser. Very well done.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner, thank you.
The fair banquet is in State College this year. It's January 21st. And if anyone has any questions or would like to attend, I'm sure they could check with Mr. Beagle. Okay.
It's a USJ TA District 7 bank.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That's just part of it.
Right.
Okay. We'll go to the industry reports then. Now, I know Scott Lisha was a little under the weather today. So, Scott, are you with us today?
I am, Tony. Thank you. Scott Lisha, Lishia, Director of Racing at the Meadows. Not much to report. We have shifted over to our winter schedule, racing Tuesday through Friday, 12:45 afternoons. We'll continue that throughout the end of the year. Thank you very much.
Okay, Scott. How about Barry Brown from Harris? Barry?
Yeah, Barry Brown, BARRY, Director of Racing, Harris, Philadelphia. Same report as Scott. We are winding down our season, 2 months, a little over 2 months remaining, and we are in the final 24 days of our season. And again, we'll continue through New Year's Eve. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Barry. Mike Sullinger is not with us today. He had a last-minute call that he had to take. He just wanted to mention that there's 9 live days of racing left at Pocono, so they're winding down and working hard to get ready for next year. So for Parks, I don't know if Joe Wilson is on or if David is here. Parks? We have anybody from Parks?
Just for the people on the call and here who don't know, Unfortunately, Joe entertained some sad news. His wife passed away Friday from a significant battle with cancer. So condolences from the commission, and hopefully if you see Joe, wish him the best.
Thanks, Tom. Eric, Penn National, do you have anything?
Hi, Eric Johnston, Director of Racing Operations for Penn National, and it's JOHNSTON. Some housekeeping. First off, on the HISA issue, we, like the commission, continue to work through the process of getting HISA implemented and trying to fully grasp what those things may mean looking into the future. Certainly, we have a lot of work to do on some of the safety issues and coming into full compliance with that, but we have been in communication with HISA, and we are certainly heading in that direction. Also, on the housekeeping side, we had the Department of Environmental Protection for the state of Pennsylvania was on property last Thursday, just a routine inspection, getting ready for the renewal of our CAFO permit, which will take place in March of next year. So we'll have to have that application done. They came out, inspected the stable area, went through our manure holding facility, and went through all of our paperwork, and everything was in order, no concerns whatsoever. So very happy with that. And then just one positive note, hopefully, tomorrow night we will be holding on the second race, will be a pink out race. So in honor of honor and support of the Pennsylvania Breast Cancer Coalition, all the horses in the second race tomorrow evening will be wearing pink silks, pink saddle towels, and you'll see a lot of pink around the paddock and around the starting gate. So hopefully we get a chance, come on out and enjoy that, or tune in on TVG just to see it. It should be very interesting. We've done this in the past, but we're very happy to present it again. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Matt Ennis from Presque Isle. Matt?
Yes, thank you. Matthew Ennis. Last name is spelled E-N-N-I-S. Here at Presque Isle, we are wrapping up our 2022 live season with our last day being this Thursday. Today we are hosting the PA Breeders' Mark McDermott Stakes, and tomorrow the HBPA Stakes. Successful season so far in my eyes. Over this past weekend, we at Presque Isle hosted our Canter Showcase for aftercare. Retired horses, very successful. In my 16 years here, it was the most successful program we had. We also had our parent company in Churchill Downs on property, observing the Canter Showcase we offer here at Presque Isle and getting ideas for their other properties in hosting similar showcases. So that was exciting for us. Again, our last day of racing is October 27th, this Thursday. Our backside is closing on November 11th for our 2022 season, so I can prep our barns for winterization and look forward to reopening our backside next April for our 2023 season, pending the commission's approval. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Matt. Sam Beagle. Sam, you have anything? Kim Hankins, MSOA. Kim, are you on the call?
I am, Tony. Thank you for recognizing me. It's Kim, K-I-M, Hankins, H-A-N-K-I-N-S. I have no report except to extend my condolences to Joe Wilson also.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Todd, have anything?
Todd Mostoller. T-O-D-D-M-O-S-T-O-L-L-E-R. And I'm sure Mr. Ennis would have said this if he'd remembered, but I wanted the commission to know that on November 2nd, Tepeta Footings will be coming up to Presque Isle Downs. The purpose of that visit is to grade and pull back the surface all the way to the base. There's a macadam base under the synthetic surfaces. They'll inspect the integrity of the base, make any repairs if necessary, and then flip that surface that has not been done since it was originally put in 2007. We're doing that to ensure that the 2023 meet, that we can get started on a timely basis and make sure we have once again, the safest racetrack in the country.
Okay. Thank you, Todd. Jeff Matty, PTHA. Jeff?
Hi, Tony. Thank you very much, Chairman, Commissioners. I'd also like to send our deepest condolences to Joe Wilson. We've we've had a lot of momentum around here, and that was a gut punch to all of us last week. So I send my condolences on behalf of the entire PTHA and all of our horsemen to him and his family during this time. From a horseman standpoint, our horsemen are very eager and excited. Dave Osajanik and his staff, we've added 5 new stakes for Thanksgiving Eve. So we have 5 stakes to be run on November 23rd, all with a $75,000 purse. In terms of furthering purse discussion, we have upped our restricted program. So with the help of Dave, the horsemen, all of us together, we have now made our maiden special weight Pennsylvania bred purse 50,000, which is up from 38. We then added to our A other than restricted, which is now 52, and our 2 other than optional 50 claimer now has a purse of 55,000. So I think this was long overdue. Obviously, we need to stay competitive with all of the restricted programs in the Mid-Atlantic. Whether that be the Delaware certified program, whether that be the New Jersey breds, whatever the case may be. I think this was long overdue, and I'm glad that all of us working together in collaboration made this possible. And lastly, again, I'd just like to thank our entire staff here. You know, we've been throwing a lot of curveballs, and we continue to get them. But with the help of all of our staff here, the help of Ashley Eisenbiel and Pete Peterson and everyone else, we're rolling in the right direction. So with that, that's all I have, Tony. Thank you.
Jeff, this is Sal DeBunda. Would you mention the Bolesi Mile and also the Hall of Fame Day, if you would?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Last Tuesday, we had our Hall of Fame Day here at Parks. It was the Mike Bolesi Mile. It was a great day. Everyone came out. Mike's entire family was here. We had 5 new entrants into the Hall of Fame, one of which being Senator Tomlinson. So Senator was here with his family and close friends, and it was very meaningful to him, as it was all of our entrants into the Hall of Fame. I'd like to take that moment to thank our entire committee. We put a lot of work into that, and knock on wood, this will be our last induction class into our old Hall of Fame. So hopefully this time next year, hopefully in the spring, myself, along with the PTHA, can share news with you all of a new Hall of Fame in the works, perhaps. So that's sort of on the back burner, but that's coming to the front as we progress into 2023. So again, we thank all of the men and women that make racing here possible, and I congratulate all of those inductees into the Hall of Fame this year. Thank you, Tony.
Hey, Jeff, thank you. Jim or Mike Simpson from the Standardbred Breeders, are you guys on?
Thanks, Tony. This is Mike Simpson, Simpson. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are getting ready for the annual Harrisburg Standardbred Horse Sale. That'll be held in the Farm Show building from November 7th to 11th. The session on Monday starts at noon, so if anybody wants to watch that or buy a horse, come on over.
All right, Mike, thank you, and good luck at the sale. And last but not least, Brian Sanfratello, as you can see, is not here today because he's on a long-deserved vacation. So to the dismay of many people in this room, he will not be able to give his report today. Having said that, Mike, we have any public comment?
No.
Okay. That's it, Mr. Chair.
I'd like to make a request, Mr. Chukis, that you make available the information regarding Joe Wilson's wife available to anybody else who would like it. I know you gave it to the commission and the staff, but if you would make that available at the funerals on Thursday, I would appreciate that. Anybody that wants it. Thank you again.
And Tom, not to interrupt on that, we were just made aware, this is Jeff Matty, I'm sorry. We were just made aware that those arrangements have been pushed back a week. So Tom, I will email you the arrangements. It's same time, same place, but a week later, now on November 3rd. So I'm emailing you over now. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, thank you. Any final comments, reminders from the commission? If not, just a note of thanks. We don't say it often enough. I think to staff who do a lot of work here, and particularly to Tom and Tony, who are navigating the many conversations of HISA or HISA, however you pronounce it. But just to say it's consuming. We've been briefed on it. We'll continue to work at it, but at the end of the day, the responsibility falls to council and to our leadership here at the commissions to sort of guide us, the commission. So as we discussed, there'll be a number of some are self-imposed by the authorities, and others will be sort of datelines that the commission will have to make some decisions. So thank you for that. Special note of thanks to Nicole McCrone just for in this season of review of licensing and vendors and companies and SPMOs. Thank you. Stand up. I mean, we're right behind. Yes, thank you. Just a note. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. And just final, as we, it sounds like in the reports that were generated here today, from Trax, and a successful year, successful season. So thank you all, and to include our fair season. Thank you for making the circuit, and impressive that only one received or got rained out, right? So 21 of the 21, 20 were held, and $2.3 million in purses paid. So great season. So with that, if there's nothing else, a motion to
I
adjourn,
just want to
please.
wish happy Thanksgiving to everyone who I may not see before Thanksgiving. So our next meeting is after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yep, and to you as well. So good reminder, next meeting, November 29th, same place, same time. Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Ellis, Commissioner
Clark.
Clark, yeah. Thank you. Everybody said yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Safe
Bye.
travels. Thank you.